Good week of prep. I think we're relatively healthy heading into the game. We're gonna try to get Christian James to be able to do something for us. Nate Johnson's responded well. Quincy was out today. He had a little allergic reaction that kept him out, but his hamstring's doing well and seems to be healthy and will be ready to play. I mean, there's really no other updates outside of that. Again, I think that the team has responded well to some of the things we've done to try to take care of them physically and mentally. I think the prep's been good to this point. We got to finish it out with a couple of good mental days here, and then we're going to need to play at our best. It's going to be a physical game in all three phases. This is a challenging opponent in all three phases. I think they have a real identity, and they're going to make it really hard. So we know how to play to our identity, and that's going to be important. And we need to be ready for a tightly contested game where we find ways to win in the margins. Chancellor Deermeyer came out to practice today, which was a special treat for us. Anytime we get a chance to spend time with him, and he delivered a great message to our team afterwards. Much appreciated, and a great leader for us, and someone who's unlocking so much potential within our program. So that was a great treat for us, and now it's about turning into the mental prep that exists here to the finish, and again, being excited about playing a tough opponent in our home stadium. Happy to answer questions.
As much as you can say, what did Deermeyer tell you guys?
He just talked about the community's response to what we're doing, and that he's paying attention, and he shared some of the things he's noticed about how our team has come together and what the markings are of our success, and then he shared about proving doubters wrong and how important that is, and I thought in particular being proud but not satisfied, and that being part of his philosophy and the university's philosophy, but that the only thing you ever do to limit yourself is not setting your aspirations high enough. So to reach big and dream big and to go chase the things that we want. And it was a great message, again, from a great leader that I was very grateful to have him share his time with us.
What's the state of NIL looking like with the portal opening in about a month?
Well, we're going to be transitioning into some sort of revenue share model. That the bridge in between that's going to be kind of anticipating that, and also knowing that the NIL systems have to be in place. The conversations I've had and the awareness that I've been made aware of is I like where we are. I mean, this is about building on this season, and to build upon this season's about both retention and also addition. And I think what we've learned from the first couple years of this is, first of all, if you're not participating in it, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
And then second, what you think it's going to cost and the reality of what it costs and how that continues to escalate as we move forward into this, that's the reality. So I feel like with Candace's support, some of the things we've done to adjust our approach to NIL and just the awareness we have of how important it is, I feel like we're going to be positioned to have another strong offseason. Obviously, I haven't spent a ton of time on that. Next week will be an important week to kind of try to start setting the course. But Barton and his staff have been hard at work just seeing where the needs are and how do we fill the needs. And obviously, we're going to be charging at it in December pretty hard.
I imagine, so like you said, you'll have a better idea of this in 2 weeks or something, but do you anticipate 20 transfers is going to be a thing every year, or do you go less now that you have a successful team of players who are producing?
It's hard to project all the way. I think you focus first on, I mean, because the elements added into this is, it's not just about retaining and not retaining, it's also about value. And so when you start to incorporate value into it, you know, you start to have to make decisions based off retention at a valuation. And so I think in the early parts of the portal window, we'll have a good feel for kind of where that nets out and what that looks like within our team, and also what's out there in the market that you know, we think enhances who we are, and what's the value of that. You know what I mean? So certainly, I guess not to go totally into the depth of detail, and also not to dance around the question, I think what we've learned this year is that we can have success in the portal, and it can be a strong part of the building out of our team, and we're not afraid of that anymore. And in some ways, the blend of, you know, freshmen for development and the addition at the top end of your depth chart with transfer portal players, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood 10 to 20 is probably fair. And that's going to be both with continued high school recruitment and the kind of fluctuation of numbers within your roster. What I want to make sure we're hitting our marks on is, hey, we need to retain the players that we have invested in, that we believe in, that have proven that they can do it at this level. That becomes first priority. You see where you net out, and then what's the blend of high school player to transfer player that we need to add to make sure we have the strongest possible team.
Are there any, you know, freshmen that might be taking a 4-game red shirt that you're anticipating maybe incorporating a little more with only 3 games left?
You know, there's a number of guys that are kind of on the cusp of that. Obviously, with postseason opportunity, you open up the chance to play another game, which is awesome. But we're looking at, you know, a couple guys that have played in 2 or played in 1 that we'll either use for the last 3. If they played in 2, we'll maybe hold out this one, but look to push for the last 2. There's kind of a bunch of guys in that conversation. So trying to protect that year where we can, obviously with depth and just the physical stress of the season. You know, some guys are forced into more action now, which is also a good thing. So,
along the lines of the portal, Stephen Hubbard talked on Saturday about how impactful the transfer class this year has been in turning this around. Just how do you reflect on what last offseason did for you, just with that class as a whole?
Well, it's been huge. I mean, I think both elimination of certain like attitudes and mentalities that we had retained through kind of the original blueprint of what we were trying to do. And again, from my vantage point, it was, I want to be the best coach for everyone that was involved in this. So, you know, I'm a Vanderbilt guy, these are Vanderbilt guys, let's give them a chance to really help build something special. And I think some people have been totally bought into that, and other people weren't prepared to do that. And maybe it took us a little too long to turn that part of our roster over. But when you eliminate kind of the negative, it gives what's healthy and strong here a chance to actually grow and reach higher. And then when you add guys like Hubbard and obviously Diego, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and list them all, but when you add those guys that have the right competitive fiber and mentality, that appreciate the things that make Vanderbilt and make our program unique, you don't just, you know, elevate, you start to surge forward, and that's what we've experienced. And I think as the year's gone, we've strengthened because those guys have grown more and more comfortable, and we built identity and we built connection within, which is the challenge with transfers, and it's been a really good formula. So without their addition, you know, we're not where we are right now. Now we're somewhere improved from where we were a year ago, but that's been a huge part of this. And again, to come back to Chancellor Diermeyer, I mean, one of kind of his, you know, core tenets in his, you know, the university's philosophy is radical collaboration. And this program is a part of a university that obviously functions as one of the best schools in the world. And so when you talk about competing in the SEC and competing in the world's best classrooms, there has to be collaboration that gives us the ability to get these guys in and to get them on a course that fits them. And Some of them are undergrad transfers, some of them are graduate transfers. I've been blown away with the level of collaboration that's taken place, because it's not just about identifying a player in the portal and adding them to your roster. You know, it's about having all that sync up with the university's pathway in, and it's a testament to a Vanderbilt community that I think is finally working together to help in all areas. But certainly we're feeling the benefit of that.
Obviously, you listed Diego Pavia and Cedric Alexander as probable, but are there any restrictions that they might have with how banged up they've been?
No, not anticipating any. They've both been able to practice. I think Diego's just, it's wear and tear. Cedi's a little more acute, but he's actually had a better week and felt better this week than he did last week. So game flow will dictate a lot, and anytime you're playing in a physical game like Saturday's going to be, and we'll have to stick and move, but there's nothing I anticipate on the front end holding them back or restricting them.
I know you've said a bunch that you've enjoyed being the DC, and it seems like it's gone well on the field. Are you open to just doing that indefinitely, or do you want to hand it off at some point in the future?
I think you're constantly kind of evaluating how that looks and how it works. I'll never, at least not in the foreseeable future, disconnect from that side of the ball. Whether or not I need to be the primary play caller, or whether it needs I don't know that it's actually most efficient to funnel through me or channel through me. And so this all season I'll take time to think about what that might look like and how it might fit, but to make sure that I never distance myself from it, because it kind of fulfills a part of me that needs to be fulfilled in the role of coaching, and I think that I have skills and things to offer that way. It helps me build connection with players, and it makes for the best football on Saturday. So this has been a hard year that way, and it's been a learning year for me. I do think as the year's gone, we've gotten more and more efficient with our time, and I've been able to delegate certain responsibilities that, at Notre Dame I would have done it all on my own. Obviously with the two jobs you can't do that. So the off season will be a great chance for me to reflect and to see where the pieces are internally and what our staff looks like. But if we can move forward with the staff that's intact, or on the whole intact, I think there's a pathway for me to allow for someone else to be a play caller while I'm still involved in the strategic decisions and the structures that lead into game day.
Anything else?
I'm doing a story on Corey Sidner. Just how much has he meant to you guys, and what kind of edge does he bring being like a New York guy?
Well, as New York guys have edge, Corday has edge. No, he's. I think he's an example of a guy that, it's hard to imagine this program without him, and I say that to say like he's such a good fit, and we're not always, we don't have control over when paths cross, but the fact that he's here and is such a positive member of our team and our defense, and he's established a leadership voice. That is a Vanderbilt football player, and he's got the respect of his teammates. He's got the respect of his staffs. He's one of the guys that I enjoy celebrating with after big wins the most, because it's just like he's got such passion for what we're doing and belief. And I'm really glad that our paths have crossed.